We have finally reached part 4 of 4 on how to write an essay step by step, and in this part I'll teach you about transitions and how to add transitions into your essay. So what is a transition? A transition is a word or phrase that connects ideas. A transition is sort of like a bridge between ideas. We use transitions in several situations. One of them is to show steps or order. Transition words that show steps or order include afterward, finally, first, lastly, in the end, then, next, secondly, and until now. There are many others, but these are a few examples. Here's an example of where one of these transitions is used. Go right, then go left. Do you see the transition word that connects the two instructions? Our transition is then. It connects the instruction go right with the instruction go left. We don't need this transition, but it connects the two instructions and it helps them to flow more smoothly for the reader. Another situation where we use transition words and phrases is to show similar or additional ideas. Examples include also, additionally, furthermore, in addition, in other words, it's also true that, likewise, moreover, and plus. There are several others. These are just a few. Here's an example. I like reading. Furthermore, I enjoy discussing what I read. Do you see the transition between the two ideas? Our transition word here is furthermore. This transition specifically shows that the second idea builds on the first idea. A third situation where we use transitions includes to show contrasting or different ideas. Words that show contrasting or different ideas include although, conversely, despite, however, in spite of, nevertheless, otherwise, on the other hand, and to the contrary. Note that these transitions tend to be the most difficult ones for students to use for the first time. So before you use them, I would recommend looking for several examples and then trying them yourself. Here's one example. I like reading. However, I don't like drawing. Do you see the transition word? However. However shows us that we have one idea before the transition and a different idea after the transition. A fourth situation where we use transitions is to show reasons and results, or cause and effect. Examples include as a result, because of, consequently, for this reason, for these reasons, therefore, and since. Here's an example. It is raining. For this reason, she has an umbrella. Do you see our transition phrase? The transition phrase is for this reason. This shows us that we're reading about a situation that involves a reason to explain an idea. We also use transitions to show examples, and words like examples include, for example, for instance, more specifically, namely, to illustrate this point and specifically. Here are a few sentences connected by one of these transitions. A flower is a plant with petals and a stem. Examples include roses, dandelions, and daffodils. Do you see our transitional phrase? Our transitional phrase's examples include. This shows us specific examples of that concept. A summary is a sentence or two that summarizes a larger idea. Examples of transitions that show summaries include in a nutshell, in short, in summary, to sum up, or to summarize. Often, you'll see a summary transition used in conclusion sentences. Here's an example. Today we have learned a lot about exercise and health. In short, we need to exercise to be healthy. Do you see our summary transitional phrase? The transitional phrase is in short. It tells us that after this transition, we're going to get a short sentence that summarizes one or more ideas that came before it. Finally, we use transitions in conclusions. Examples include all in all things considered, altogether, considering these points, in a word, in conclusion, and to conclude. Usually you'll see conclusions either in conclusion sentences or at the end of an essay. For example, all things considered, a child's school strongly influences the quality of his or her childhood. This type of sentence would either come, again, at the end of a paragraph or at the end of an essay. Do you see our transitional phrase? Our transitional phrase is all things considered. When we see that phrase, we know that this sentence is a conclusion sentence. Now I want to show you a couple of transitions in the essay we've already studied. It already includes a few transitions. So how many transitions are needed in an essay? 1 to 2 per paragraph, but not more. Here are the transitions that I've already included. We have however, also, for example, and finally. As you see, that's not the recommended 1 to 2 per paragraph. We'll need to add a few more. So where should we add them? There are a few important places for transitions that I recommend. One is using transitions at the beginning of body paragraphs. So I added 3 of those. First, secondly, and perhaps most importantly. If you read the first sentences of the body paragraphs, first, walking is easy. Secondly, walking is convenient. Perhaps most importantly, walking is often done outside. Do you see how those transitions help the body paragraphs to flow one to the next? The other important place for using transitions is at the beginning of conclusion sentences. Remember, conclusion sentences come at the end of a paragraph. I used 2 transitions at the beginning of a conclusion sentence, as a result and for these reasons. Remember, transitions must fit the paragraph where you use them. This paragraph lists facts, then a result of these facts. For this reason, the transition phrase as a result fits very nicely. This paragraph lists reasons that walking is the best exercise. So, for these reasons, fits very well in that conclusion sentence. But if I listed examples, parts, or steps in this paragraph, we would need to use a different transition. Let's look at our essay one more time using slightly different transitions from before. I've added new transitions in the same important places, including at the beginning of body paragraphs. This time I added these transitions: one reason, another reason, and one more reason. When you use these transitions, you have to change the sentence just a little to have the correct structure, but the meaning is the same as before. Look how they flow. One reason walking is an ideal exercise is because it is easy. Another reason that walking is the best exercise is because it is convenient. One more reason that walking is a great activity is because it is often done outside. Do you see how these transition words really help the body paragraphs to flow? And again, I added new transitions at the beginning of conclusion sentences. This time I added 3 of those: in a nutshell, consequently, and given these points. In a nutshell summarizes. In a nutshell, walking can be done anytime and anywhere without special preparation. Consequently is used for cause and results. Consequently, walking outside helps mental and physical health. And finally, given these points is a good transition to use in a conclusion sentence of the entire essay, or in a paragraph. Given these points, everyone who wants regular exercise should try walking. We have now finished this video on transitions and all parts of our videos 1 through 4 on how to write an essay step by step. I hope this video helped you understand how to write an essay. Thank you for watching.